Hey guys. Okay. So, we're back and I I tried to do like daily uploads. They're probably going to be two videos today that came out because I recorded one yesterday but was too tired to post it, so yeah. And let's just see how it goes. So the court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Emma didn't come back. Where did she go? Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. Oh, right, I think she ran off. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. This guy. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I don't even know if you're allowed to drink stuff like that in the courtroom, but... Me, partner? I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the utterly crossed intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know, you're a patrolman. Oh, yes. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Yeah, me neither. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up. Okay, what does that mean? Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. Because, I mean, he was speaking English, but it's just, like, really hard to understand. Because he's talking Western. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchid. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room is protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail. No, you're not going nowhere. I can't say particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Oh. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security camera's an ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not that good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weakness, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? Oh. This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. Okay, let's see what we can do. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchid. What's that? How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still. Even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who entered the recordings. You entered them? Videos of nothing aren't that useful, so the time would come, I'd erase the tape. So, if nothing unusual recorded, tapes are supposed to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. This guy has a flair for the dramatic, but isn't going to do him any good. Yeah. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. Okay. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. Ooh. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? Yeah, honestly, it doesn't sound like he's doing his job. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprints locking mechanism? Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that, too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? Yeah, we need to know that. If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down. So where's that at? What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat that parlor's Van Gogh sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. What does that even mean? That's low-key weird. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edris says, "Did you not want to raise this year?" Yeah. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My still horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I better up the ante. Wait. Okay, well, I have your fingerprints, so... just letting you know. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called to testify like this? Right. All quiet now. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here? Explain yourself, partner. Well, I'll explain myself. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects, that is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. Then why were they covered in blood? I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Exactly. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away, however, a luminal test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall, it seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. What do you mean? I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall? About the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. Found at the scene of the crime. Let's see what he's got. Because honestly, it just seems like those are... Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in the evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. Okay. The witness's explanation appears valid. Although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. True. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. I don't really know what he's hiding, though. Okay, like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. I guess. That's because you, how do you put it, pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. Oh, what? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it. Oh. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the bloodstain handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine. It's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened the murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. I Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? Why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Really? Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kind of like cereal and cereal. One's got to do at breakfast while the other's a type of murderer. Ooh. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. I've never heard that word, but okay. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How would you know? How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. Right. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer wearing gloves happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? Basically, the picture. This seal of blood in the desert is just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't there, you can't say otherwise. Okay. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. I'm confused. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime? Isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. Oh. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. Oh, true. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. I think they're valid. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall is present, please do so now. I don't know. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. No, I won't. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Okay. Let's see. Let's see anything incriminating here. Anything incriminating? No. The blood wouldn't be incriminating, would it? Because I want to focus on his locker. Right here. Someone had to have opened it to do that. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? No? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Right. Because let's look at it. There's something hanging out that wasn't there before. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Let's do it. We can do it a bit quicker, though. Let's see. Because watch that white cloth not be there. Oh, right. Nothing's there. Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Yeah, we got you. Order! Order! It would hold your horses. Sorry, partner. But you got the wrong man. No, we don't. So what if my locker was open? It doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Okay, well, last time I checked, fingerprints open your locker. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everybody staring at me like I'm a wanted man? Because it only opens by fingerprint. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say open that locker? Now prove it. Okay. Only the assigned detective Prince can open it. Fingerprint sensor? Oh. We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detective they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. Oh. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? That you're guilty? I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Okay. That's very interesting. Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you're doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Ole, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's alright, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at the floor plans. Okay. This is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yeah, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. Okay. If that's so, then where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Right here. Officer Marshall was standing right there. So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Meekins' warp theory. Oh. Okay, then where was he? Oh, right here? Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you dressed up like Detective Goodman. Ooh. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Oh, right. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say about this, Officer Marshall? You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. No, it's not. Circumstantial evidence, he's still denying it. You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim? I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard. Okay, again. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. Ack, this can't be happening. So obvious he's the one, what can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. You talking to me? I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open this locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is a key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. I can't. I can't show you why he had to. Was it because there was blood on his shoulder? You don't really want to walk out with blood on your shoulder, do you? Right here. For some reason, you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman and enter the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled the knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. Bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Ooh. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. What? 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did, all of it. All right. It seems the time has come. Let's see. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Oh. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. So they didn't even, check the blood? It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. Why? When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. What if I have anything to do with it? The incident's not over. What did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I plan to take out the evidence. Okay. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera. And the detective's ID card? I saw that the morning of the incident. Right, so that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean, the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Okay. wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Okay. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. Okay, leave Meekins alone. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out this way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... So that's the knife he used. And managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. Okay. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. Opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. Okay. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind, man? Like, the victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Oh. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. I can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Okay, I just can't forget the Esselna incident. You know why? Why? That case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will ever talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Okay. Let's take a look at the case. Okay, perpetrator Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentence, death. Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Hold on. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Does your brother? Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago. Is that his brother? He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gann, then Deputy Chief of Police. Oh. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Ooh. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. What is happening? Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case would be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Okay, Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. No, that's not good. The thing that happened by chance never ceased to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Well, okay, chance? It's gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. No. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Dude. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of this simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me, this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one of Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. Objection, then. Oh my god. I rest my case. No, you don't. Well, this sucks. Seems the trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time. Yeah, why did we help? Oh, what a jerk. Disapproving the alleged murder at the police department. Yeah, so I did that out of the kindness of my heart. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security tape, on the camera's tape, really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. I'm afraid it did. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant don't say guilty. Hold it. Oh. Your Honor, wait. Emma, the defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right? I guess. What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Okay. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky's sisters were in that file. That's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. That's what I was thinking. Why didn't they just look at the blood? So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. So what was... Okay. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. I am, though. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if there's then someone's, fingerprints must be gone. If you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Object. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright. No, I'm not grasping. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn in here? Yeah. Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Okay, let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? This. Because that was supposed to be dancing. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans at the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Oh. Well, what? Oh. That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. And you could just move it. What? Okay. So this means, just exactly what does that mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on the locker. Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that day afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to Evan's room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in? Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Right? Officer Meekins cut his hand from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Right. So, someone bled prior to the struggle down on this tape. It had to have been... Oh my god, Lana Skye. Because why was her hand cut? Detective Goodman... Oh, never mind. When he was really murdered... That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. Well, you're gonna have to. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur as Mr. Edwards said? Proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? Let's see. This? Perhaps? This is the proof. It's quite simple, you see. If it's so simple, then don't get it wrong. Huh? Oh. Oh, okay. I thought that was a pretty good thing, but never mind. What shows when the murder first took place? I don't even know, girl. Well, let's take a really good look. You know, there's so much. What shows when the first crime took place? I really don't know. Perhaps this? If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh, the ID card. That one. Officer Meekins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 5:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 5:40 p.m. Ah. Oh my god. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminal test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Well, obviously, I would never accuse him. Let's look at the chart again. Because there's this number that's random. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? He didn't. Maybe? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. Oh, that makes sense. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with that. He went in with them. Please, Edgeworth, please look at this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Oh, that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. Oh. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an Okay. There's so many freaking words I can't pronounce. An official charge. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Oh, okay. It probably does, but I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 7... Yeah. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Did she? Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. But Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look at me, an investigator of that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't... I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence. Oh. Isn't that like the worst crime you can do in law or something? I don't know how it works, but see? That's what I'm talking about. No. No! Well, order, 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 order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Oh my goodness. Well, alright. I wonder if we're having an investigation after this or not. But yeah, that was the episode. So you guys are basically getting 2 episodes today. So hope you guys have a great day. And yeah, I'm really excited for... I think we're almost done this. I think. But I don't know. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.